notes.
Move this over here. The mic doesn't knock it over.
That's what happened?
Yeah. I was going to go to fix your mic, and to leave, I have to go like this.
Yeah.
And it just knocked the can over.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you tell we don't podcast?
We didn't even start yet.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
I'm starting this wherever I decide to start this. I'm Chris, and I'm a cyber psycho.
I'm Adam, and I'm just some klutzy choom.
That was good. And we don't podcast.
But what we did do this week, aside from just ruining our set irreparably...
Yeah, our tea time is just, we're drinking soda, and we already
we're destroying our bodies, and I knocked it over, so we're destroying the set as well.
Yeah.
But damn, is that good.
The tea is punishing us.
We watched Cyberpunk Edgerunners. We're a bit late to this party.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. When did it come out? Like 3 months ago?
It came out in September, I think. September? Yeah, September, I think.
Sure. I'll put Rebecca in the thumbnail. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I know. I like Lucy quite a bit. Okay, we're not here for wife debates. Or we can be, but not right now. So, yeah, this is a series that I don't know if you have, but I saw a lot of hype for. People were talking a lot of things about it. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, this is really good. And I'm like, sure, let's. I wanted to watch it anyway, and I suggested this for the podcast, and then we watched it.
It's a Trigger production, and I quite like Trigger things generally.
Yeah, Trigger's pretty good. The very
big fan of Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann, even though that was technically Gainax, but whatever.
They're very good. It makes very pretty stuff, even at the bare minimum. Like
they have a very distinct, like fast-paced style that I quite like.
Yeah. So
Promare was good.
Yeah,
Promare was good.
I like SSS, Dynazenon and Gridman. They're like Sentai-ish series. They're very good. I high recommend them. Not for everyone though. But what do we think about Cyberpunk? Let's get spoiler-free thoughts.
Okay.
Is this where the hot takes are coming?
Cyberpunk? Is it cyberpunk or is it cybercrunk? I say it was pretty good. I give it like a 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah. I have some problems with it, but generally it's pretty good. It's among the it's mid-trigger, but mid-trigger is still pretty good.
It's still above average, like other stuff. Okay. I would say, I'd probably give us an 8. I quite liked it. There are, like, the thing is that...
yeah, I'll show.
He's spilling a lot today. The thing with this is that I think it's pretty good, but a problem I think I had was that... I have this with a lot of series, and I do this myself, is that a lot of people kept saying, like, oh my god, it's so emotional, you're gonna cry, oh my god, it's like the best thing since like Arcane, and I really like Arcane. I love Arcane.
I thought Arcane was alright.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine.
Which is wrong. But,
well, okay, it's fine, but the visuals are really good, so it's like a 6 out of 10.
Whatever. But like they were saying like a lot of great things about this, and I think my expectations going in were like, oh, like everyone's hyping this up to be like 11, right? And then when even though I think it's like an 8, like for me, like it doesn't feel like that high, right? Like for me, it feels like it's actually lower than what I actually think it is, based on like the expectations I had going in, and then
so you got overhyped for it.
Yeah, I did. Which is a disappointment, because it's pretty good. I think there are some flaws, like narratively, some character, but I think they did like some of the stuff I think they did very well. I think was David's PTSD and stuff.
Yes, I thought that was done really well.
That's probably one of the best things in the show. And I think obviously the visuals, and I guess engrossing yourself in the idea of you being in Night City, and just the atmosphere of the entire place, like very like corporate, very industrial. Like it's I think that those are the things I think are the primary stuff that they're trying to do. I think they do them very well. So I think that for me, that's why I think it's still pretty good. But like for me, I did tear up one part because these things kind of make me sad, and we'll get to it at the very end. But I wasn't like crying the whole entire show, or like I thought some parts were like, oh, that's sad. Like sure, like the PTSD was pretty sad stuff too. But overall, I think it's a I don't know if I want to say the cautionary tale of just like living in this like city of.
I was thinking it was kind of more of just like a straight like sort of tragedy kind of.
Yeah, I guess it would be a tragedy because it's the cycle of like death and loss and
addiction.
Addiction. I think it does a lot of stuff well. I think there's a couple things I could have done better, but yeah, I think it's still pretty good. I think it's still unfortunately I don't feel the same excitement or hype. It does make me want to play the game a little bit. I will admit that. So, but then I saw that it wasn't on sale anymore, so I was like, I'm just gonna wait again.
You missed the Black Friday sale.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like I'm hyped enough to pay $60 for it. Like,
yeah, I don't know if the game has patched out a lot of its. I
heard a lot of its
issues.
Patched about
yeah,
it.
It's probably fine to play now, but I don't really know. I kind of was paying attention for the release fiasco, and I haven't heard anything since. Although I do like how the show jabs at the wonky car physics.
Yeah,
I thought that was fucking funny.
There was multiple parts throughout the series where I was like, the cars are fucking whack. Like, the way the cars work, crazy. It's so funny.
I thought that was hilarious because like there is no way that making the physics like that is not a response to the game's weird physics engine.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, we kind of know. I'm sorry.
Okay, something a bit unique for me. Well, first, my thoughts going in.
Yeah.
I knew it was Studio Trigger.
Okay.
So I knew I was probably going to like it. I am not as in the anime discussion online stuff as you are.
Yeah.
So I didn't get overhyped for it, though I did see quite a few, like YouTube video thumbnails for video essays on this.
Oh, like Giguk
and Mother's Basement, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't watch those.
Okay.
So I didn't get overhyped.
I didn't watch them either, but I just, for me, the discussion boards do it.
Yeah.
Or Twitter.
Just like every person who doesn't want to scroll through YouTube Shorts but does anyways, I have seen compilations of Rebecca.
Okay.
But other than that, I didn't really know anything going in. I thought Studio Trigger, I'll probably like it. I go in, and I liked it.
Surprise.
Yeah. The biggest problem for me...
That's not spoilers, right?
It's not a spoiler thing.
Okay.
I mean, it can be spoilers, but not really. There were some technical issues that I feel really needed to be ironed out.
Okay.
Like, there were a lot of shots where it was just, like, no dialogue, just the background music on a single still frame just for way too long. You know what I'm talking about?
Depending on the scene, I might agree or disagree with you. I think
there's
some of them
one in
are
particular
intentional.
that I'm thinking of in episode 5 or episode 6.
I think I know which one is on 6, and I think
It's the one where Maine and David are in the same shot.
Yeah. I think that was a good intentional shot, in my opinion. We could discuss it when we get to it.
I just straight up think it was a mistake.
Really?
Yes, I think that they were trying to pad out for time, and they're like, okay, which scenes can we extend on a single frame with no dialogue, only have the background music playing, and that ended up being one of them.
I think it can work in both ways, and I think it did. And the only reason I think that is because I guess some of the other shots, the way that they are shown and drawn, can. Like a lot of it, like seems like if they wanted to like make up, they could make some of those other scenes slower, but to intentionally like make those really fast paced and like heavy on the animation, and then that aren't necessarily to the level of like the really big set pieces and stuff, like in the last couple episodes. Like I think that having those long shots for those immediate like just one scenes, I think works, but. Then again, I think there's like 2 in them that are like similar in that, so maybe I'm thinking of a different one than you, but I'm thinking of them in the building, unless you're thinking of them under the umbrella.
No, I was thinking they're in the building.
Okay, yeah. So like, I think that's fine, but I guess we'll get more into it.
We'll get more into that. Also, something different.
Okay.
For as long as I've been an anime fan,
Sure.
I've been a sub fan. I've been a subs guy.
Yeah.
Always watch it with subs. Mm-hmm. However, this one I watched with dub.
Yeah.
because I figured, you know what, dubs have been getting pretty good recent years. You know, might as well. This might be the first one that I like, and you know what, pretty good dub.
Yeah.
I got Matt Mercer in it.
Was he David?
No, he was Falco.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, he's a cowboy. He's McCree.
Cassidy.
Oh, yeah. They changed his name. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, of course they made him be the cowboy. But, you know, I saw his voice and I'm like...
That's fair members.
I recognize his voice and I was like, oh my god, it's the guy from Critical Role. Holy shit.
That is one of the things he is known for.
Yes. The best thing that he's been a part of. I got you, fam.
Yeah. I watched it in sub, but I did go in and out a couple times in dub just because I know that the lingo it works a lot better in dub and
yeah. Also, this is a strangely international anime.
Yeah,
like it's written by a Polish guy.
I didn't know that part.
Okay, so the screenplay or the script or whatever was written by a Polish guy.
Okay.
Based on a tabletop RPG made in the U.S. That was then the animation was then outsourced to Japan.
Yes.
That was then dubbed back into English with American actors.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
For a video game. What?
Oh yeah, from a video game that's made in Poland. Yeah.
So. But yeah, I think overall our thoughts are positive. I mean, I know our scoring systems are differ in multiple ways, but like, you know, I think overall it's just generally positive.
Yeah.
Not like it's the greatest thing.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good too. I think it's very good. I wouldn't say it's great, but
I will stand by saying that this is mid trigger. But it's mid trigger still pretty good.
Wow, what other stuff is there that they've made?
I mean, Darling in the Franxx was good until it wasn't.
Well, the trigger parts were good because it was the first half that they did.
Did the second part wasn't trigger?
It was A1.
You see, that's where they went wrong. A1 did Sword Art Online.
A1's not the worst, but they're very 50-50. Like,
yeah, A1 also did Shelter, the music video for Shelter, so they're fine in my book. But you know,
yeah, they have that one standout. You're like, I tolerate them, and if they do bad,
they're fine. I'm cool with these guys. Let's see. Promare was pretty good.
Promare's good.
I think I like Promare a bit more than Cyberpunk. I think. Although to confirm that claim, I would want to watch Promare again.
Yeah.
But they did feel pretty similar. Like I'd put them on the same tier on a tier list.
Okay. I think Cyberpunk's better in my opinion. I think in my opinion, Promare's more fun. To
yes,
watch.
That's why it's better.
I mean, to each their experience, right? But I think just like technically, I think Cyberpunk's better.
To each the better, take mine.
Yeah, I guess.
That was my chair.
Oh, that scared the shit out of me.
I hope that picked up on the mic. So I can't tell on the waveform.
Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. There's a
Can I recreate that? No? Okay. I mean, I felt it in my chair. But
oh god, Jesus Christ. Anyway. I guess before we go into episode by episode, one thing that I noticed that I noticed at episode 10 that I thought was really cool was the I mean obviously not all, but a lot of anime intro and endings are very symbolic. They're very thematic.
Yeah, I don't pick up on any of it, but yeah.
I really liked that in the
the opening number is by Franz Ferdinand, is a British band. So more international.
It's more international, yeah.
There we go.
But the shots where it shows David and it shows all the people from the city like flashing on him.
Yes.
And then it cuts to all the different stuff, and then now we're going to spoiler stuff where David gets shot by the mysterious figure or whatever.
It turns out
intro.
Are we going full spoilers? Or?
No, it's in the intro.
Okay.
And so, do you know how he gets shot? Like, or the imagery of him getting shot?
I do not remember. No.
Oh my fucking god, dude!
I was not super into the intro.
Okay, well,
I always give the intros one chance, and then if I like it, I'll keep watching it. But if I don't, then I'll whatever.
Well, anyway, the shot is of a mysterious shadowed figure that kills him, right? And the images that go on to the shadow figure are just images of the city. Like there's no people in it at all.
So for episode 10 they changed it so that's
no I just noticed in episode 10. It's in the first episode.
Okay.
But I think it's it's very symbolic of like the city is killing all the people that live in it, right? Like it is devouring
Yeah,
them.
yeah. That's a pretty common theme.
Yeah, and so like it's like all the people, like every person is flashed onto David, so every human or like human-esque person, and then like just the city itself is the one like
The
shooting
city
them.
is killing the people.
Yeah, and I just noticed that in the last episode. I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Oh look, symbolism, theming.
Yeah. But yeah, let's I guess go up and down for episode by episode, or do you want to talk like major? You can do episode by episode.
Yeah, episode by episode, man. Yeah.
Okay, episode 1. We get cyber psychosis. We got that one dude from the military, and it's just there's so much hyper violence in the show.
Oh, it's yeah.
And a lot of like sex positivity, I guess, because it's just
Oh yeah,
like,
there's just a bunch of people jerking off in the street.
and they just like people are like casually naked.
Yeah.
They don't make like a big deal of it. It's like,
Yeah.
and I like that. Like, it's very rare in media.
People have like cyber implanted underwear.
Yeah, or just like boobs or
Boobs out.
Yeah, and just like I think that the idea of this portrayal of just
Of a
sex,
semi post-human city in the future.
like
it makes sense.
Yeah, it's very casual and stuff. Like I like it when they have like, because sex in media is very like is more taboo than violence, which is weird.
Yeah, it's a bit fucked up.
It's very strange. But like when they have stuff like this where it's just like it's not like being demeaning or like it's there's a couple scenes where it's like it's sexual, but like
it's portrayed very neutrally.
Yeah, it is portrayed very neutral, which I quite liked. But yeah, okay. Anyway, going to goes off the tangent from hyperviolence. So cyber psychosis. This one dude's just killing policemen, people, whoever. This military dude. Like, then you get the shot of the people coming down. That I forget the name of their the cleanup crew or the ones that have
trauma team, trauma squad.
No, the ones that have the cyber psychos.
Oh, Max something.
Oh, Max Tech, right?
Max Tech. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
And then so we get a couple stuff that will be more relevant in some parts later on. Let's see, the David, our main character, is going to school, but he was reliving the images of that cyber psycho.
Yeah, he's checking out the newest drop of the brain dance, the BD,
the BDs, yeah,
the brain dance.
Yeah, and so, this is the Edgerunner series, right? So they end up, or he ends up.
That's why it's called Edgerunners. We'll get to that later. I figured it out.
There's a lot of imagery of them on the edge of things.
And also, he's running on the edge. We'll get to that later. I'll explain.
It's
a good title for the series.
There's a lot of running themes in this show.
Yes,
quite a bit. He ends up going to school after watching the BDs, watching the porn one. And then the school, he's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't want to pay."
He's a little misfit. He's the only poor kid in the rich school.
Yeah,
so everyone makes fun of him. They pull his pants down, give him wedgies.
They don't do that. Not this show. He tries to.
He tries to jack into the school.
Well, he tries to use a device that like he didn't want to pay for, so he had like
he downloaded the textbook as a PDF. He got expelled for it.
That's not super far off, but that PDF fucked up everyone else's books.
Yeah.
Then the mom got called in. She's upset. She's
fuck David. Now we gotta pay more than you would have if you paid for the real book.
Yeah, I mean it's like I understand like if you want to make things like work out cheaper for yourself, because especially when she's not telling him what he's doing to have like a lot of money, which I get because it's like underground stuff, as we'll learn later.
Yeah, but, he's thinking that he's got to like save as much as he can.
Yeah, and so he's trying, and so
and also
fair.
Also, he's a student, and from personal experience, I know a lot of students who have pirated textbooks.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say who,
but there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, and
I didn't because I'm rich, but
Well. Yeah. Also, it's implied. I don't think now, but later that David's like super smart with the schooling.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
he gets straight A's.
Yeah, he's like he does really well. Anyway, during when his mom picked him up and stuff, they get in a car accident because like there's rival gangs and stuff. Just, like,
they're just
shooting
caught.
at
They're
each
just
other.
caught in the crossfire, and the family is too poor to have good medical coverage, so she dies.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
first they don't save her from like as the trauma people.
Oh yeah, they don't
sa-
have trauma coverage, so the trauma team just kind of
and
ignores
then
them.
and then they go to the get medical aid, and then when they do, they're like, "Oh, you have the lowest version of this." And I didn't recognize this, but some people were saying that like, "Oh, the reason why she died was because they're like, well, it'd be they have the cheapest version. We can just let her die. We'll just take the money and organs or whatever. Like, it's just basically it'd be cheaper for them just to kill her off or let her die. And it's just like that. And then they commodify her into a fucking like vending machine.
The vending machine crematorium. Yeah.
And it's like, and what I really like about that that goes on the show is that this scene or the entire scene with her and her death was very quick, very like corporate industrialized, but the ramifications of that on David, like you don't really see him like wallow in it. But you see,
we don't spend 10 minutes of screen time just him in
being,
grief.
like,
We just keep moving on.
Yeah, but as that happens, like later on in the show, like
it keeps coming back.
Yeah, it still sits with it,
he keeps the urn and he stares at it for a while,
which is, I think, a much better way to show like this, like grief
100%.
Because like in shows you'll have them like just be like, oh yeah, I'm really sad, and then get over it like pretty fast, or not fast, but like after that scene, right, where they like grieve or whatever, and then they kind of move on. They're like, oh, in my memory, but he's like fucked up, like he doesn't recognize it in the moment because they have to move on, and I didn't realize like how like the speed of things like is a proper theme too throughout the entire show.
Yeah, it's gotta run along.
Him. Yeah, right. Well, not just with him, but just like the scenes in the show, the transitions, like everything's super quick, and you don't have time to like sit with anything too long because no one does. Which is pretty good. But yeah, he ends up. I thought when he found the spinal implant, I thought like the way my brain connected it was, oh, the mom was using that because she was weak and that's why she died.
Yeah, no,
that's
I didn't think that at all. Yeah, no.
No, I don't think anyone else thought that, but that's what I thought first.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you got it.
Well, I didn't know, like I didn't realize that it had to be like directly
It was in the bag.
I thought it was in her jacket. Like it was in the back of her jacket.
Yeah, she wasn't using it. It's on the spine.
Well, it was on her jacket inside, so I thought like my immediate thought was, oh, it's like
it was in a plastic bag, Chris.
I think it was just taped on. Again, I was wrong. I'm not saying it was right. Like I'm saying that's what I thought.
Well, here's the thing, right? That piece of tech is called the Sandevistan.
Yeah.
Because he's devastated that his mom died.
Is that what it's called that for?
That's probably why it's called the Devistan.
Yeah.
Devastating. It devastates the mind because it'll make you go psycho because it's big military tech.
Yeah. Big military, big tech, big everything. Okay. Anyway, he asked the doc to help him. On to episode 2. Let's see. The Sandevistan is the same.
Devistan?
Sandevistan?
Okay, in the dub they pronounce it Devistan.
Sandevistan?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So I mean, the dub could be wrong, but
No, I doubt it. Sandevistan is the same as. Is it the same as James Norris? No, yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, he's the guy that died in the beginning.
Yeah,
so,
it's the same
James's
implant that the psycho from the brain dance in the beginning.
Which made me realize, oh, she's just stealing stuff and selling it, and that's why she
that's
had money.
how he can get into the academy.
I mistyped. I meant to put David doesn't have cyber psychosis like James did, or at the very least in the beginning, and that's already kind of crazy because it like immediately puts a toll on your body, and David's more or less fine at the beginning. Then we meet up with on a train, and we meet Lucy,
who's stealing the chips out of people's necks.
Yeah, which it did for a second. I was like, how is she doing this? like how is she popping them out?
She's a Jedi.
She is a Jedi.
She's gotten all that Force training, dude.
We learn later because she's a net runner, and she's like one of the best net runners. But we'll that's later.
She's a pick socket.
Yeah, she's a pick socket, and then he uses his Sandevistan to stop her, and like,
she takes the.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yep. Lucy is introduced.
Yeah. She tries to steal the chip out of his neck, but then he uses the Sandevistan to go real fast.
Yeah, and then she's like,
not today.
And then she's interrogating him a little bit, and is like, oh, why don't we work together? It's like, with your speed and stuff, we can steal a lot of stuff.
And they do.
And they do. It's great. But then he realizes, they're talking on the staircase, and then he's just like, I'm bleeding.
My nose is bleeding. That's strange.
Dips. Yeah, and so she takes him to the
dock.
That's later. She has her friend in an ambulance pick him up, and then they're gonna head to the hospital.
Oh yeah, but he doesn't have coverage.
Well, no, and the girl's like, like this Sandevistan is like.
That's right. The EMT tries to steal the Devistan off of David when he's unconscious.
Yeah, and then she kicks her, and then she's like, all right, you're getting 80-20 instead of 70-30. And like the main reason she probably does this is because Maine wants it, and because at this point she has recognized, this is the one that Maine wants.
Yeah.
Or Maine got asked for. And so they end up escaping, and I put Lucy's a psycho, like the way that she was riding the fucking
it's fucking badass.
The gurney. What's it called?
The stretcher's
the stretcher.
Well, no, the stretcher's only the part that's like the bed.
Okay, well, the rolling.
The rolly bit.
Yeah. Anyway, she's the way that they made her look at that. I was like, she's crazy, and I love her. I really like that scene.
You have fallen in love just as David has.
Yeah, I did. And then they end up going to her place, and they're being a little flirty. But she's talked. She and David have talks about like going to the moon, and David's kind of like, well, this is dangerous and bad. And she's like, I want to go to the moon. Like, what's wrong with that?
She's like, come to my room. I want to show you something. And we're like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, before even that, they still talk about how like David wants to do stuff, but Lucy asks like, well, is this stuff that you want to do? And he's like, she's never really thought about that. And that's also a common trend for him. He doesn't think about like what dreams he wants for himself. Like, it's a lot of the dreams for other people. And even in the end sacrifice, it's still a dream for someone else rather than his own dream. Which is fair, but, like, it's kind of sad. It's tragic.
It is very tragic,
yes. And then they go into her room, and they put on their moon BDs.
The moon BD, when they're sitting on the bed, it really looks like it's just an open condom.
Yeah.
That was deliberate.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously.
It's Studio Trigger.
And
they're going to do
that. I mean, maybe in Cyberpunk it looks like that, too. I don't know. I haven't played Cyberpunk.
I haven't played Cyberpunk. It's a terrible video game. I haven't played it.
And so they're in the moon, they're on the moon, and they're, like, having fun and stuff. And
I'm like, wee, there's no gravity. Wow.
That is one. Okay. And she's like, oh yeah, I've never shown this to anyone. And then it's like, then they're talking. It's very cute. And then David gets woken up by Maine. He's like, you have my Sandevistan. And then that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, she double crossed him.
Yeah,
she was stalling.
Yeah, but okay, this is one of my complaints about the show. A little bit is Lucy falling in love with David. Because by this point, she already has a kind of thing for him. And yes. I don't know, maybe for me personally, but I don't know why. Like David hasn't done anything, in my opinion, where Lucy's like, could be falling for him, right? Like
well,
they had one talk where he just questions, like, her going to the moon, or like the moon in general. And that's about it. I can see David being in like falling in love with her, being infatuated with her.
Well, yeah, she's hot.
Well, and she's like a mysterious like badass. Like it's not hard to like be infatuated with someone like that.
Yes,
Like,
I believe that trope is called the manic pixie dream girl.
kind of. I mean, she isn't, but in that aspect, like the way that she first portrayed, I guess, it is kind of like that.
Yeah, like the guy is down in the dumps, but then by chance he meets the girl who's all about doing shit, and then she brings him to go do shit, and then he's like, "Oh my god, wow, life is cool again."
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe for me, I just wasn't convinced that she liked him by this point. Like, I mean, I get they just kind of stated, oh yeah, she's never shown this to anyone, and later on they're like, yeah, I didn't know she had a moon thing, and then it's like, okay, so she does care about him to some degree because she showed him a secret part of her life, but they did like to me they just didn't convince me. Oh yeah, like she is able to fall in love with him in some capacity. Like after episode like 4, I truly believed like that they're fully in their relationship, but before that, like it didn't give me any reason to think, oh yeah, she's falling, right? She's just, oh yeah, I wasn't, oh now I am. Okay. That's one of my only problems with it, like the romance parts of it.
Yeah, for me, I thought it was believable, but I also have no experience with love, so I can't relate to it
You've
at all.
seen other shows that portray love.
Yes. This is the boring parts.
Okay. Well, for me, it's a little bit of a problem, just because I wasn't fully sold on it. But once they actually get together, I'm fully invested in their relationship. So whatever. Episode 3, I said I was right about Gloria selling to the Cyberpunks, and he proves to Maine and to everyone else that's there that I can't remember their names of.
Okay, there was Maine, there's Becca, there's Kiwi.
They weren't there though. Becca and Kiwi weren't there.
Never mind.
Wait,
okay, so
was Kiwi
there's
there?
Maine and the big girl.
Yeah, the
Her
big
name
girl was
is
there.
Doria. I
Oh
think.
yeah,
Maine Doria.
Doria was there.
Lucy David.
The brother of Rebecca was there.
Yes, I do not remember his name. Techie Fingers guy.
Yeah, he was there. So it's Techie Figure guy, Doria, Maine. They're all there. They're talking about Gloria, David. I do like that when David's like, "Oh yeah, my mom died." Everyone's like, "Oh, like,
Oh fuck,
like,
dude, that's fucked up."
Yeah.
I sympathize with you. You're gonna be my apprentice.
Well, they're just like, well, I still want my thing, and they're like, well, what if I work for you? I'll prove it to you, and then they're like, oh, okay, like you get a shot, and then I did like that Lucy felt bad because like she even states she's like, I don't want anyone dead in here, like she doesn't want, like the deal was that they wouldn't kill him, and so I did like that she's like, oh yeah, I don't want to be like excessively violent for no reason, but. Yeah, I mean, like,
yeah.
I do...
Also, something that I wanted to mention in episode 1 that I just remembered.
Oh, okay.
And this keeps happening throughout, so I think it's more of a world thing.
Okay.
Anesthetics do not seem to exist in the world of
Dude,
Cyberpunk.
oh my god, when he was... Well, it's episode 2 at the beginning of that, right? When he was
Yeah, because I
Sandestin.
get that, like, if he's getting the Sandestin implanted, that he would be too poor to afford anesthetics. But even after he gets rich out off of doing all of these heists, he still doesn't go for anesthetics. So,
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess they're just really inaccessible.
Yeah, I also wondered that, or maybe they don't work because most people are robotic parts. And so, but then I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. If I had to get synthetic lungs implanted without anesthetics, I'd just be like, you know what, I'm good. I'm gonna work at the 7-Eleven. I'm not gonna go on this heist.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because that was crazy. All the parts where the cybernetic implants were shown was. Anyway, so Lucy. I like that Lucy feels bad about like turning him in because, like, you know, I mean, I get it. Like, if you're like, oh yeah, my friend's thing is there. Like, someone just has it. Like,
yeah.
that like that's fair. Like, especially in the world that they live. But I guess, you know, she has a connection with him now, so she feels like more shitty about it. And she finds out his mom died. It's just like, oh, I'm sorry about that too. Like, you know, I didn't know these things. I don't have nothing, you know, ill will against you. It's just this was something that I thought was necessary. So I like that. I thought Maine was cool when they first had it. When they first did the heist. And then that's when the driving physics gets all crazy.
Yeah.
Rebecca jerks off the security guard.
Oh yeah.
See,
as a distraction. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. When I saw stuff online on Twitter and stuff about like a lolly character, I was like, okay, like let's see what this hype's about. And she's a lot more like Tatsumaki than like Kana. Like
I'm missing the.
And she's like she's more an adult than like she's just a small woman.
Well, okay, hold on. Weeb to weeb, who's Tatsumaki?
From One Punch Man, the tornado.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. And Kana's like, from Dragon Maid.
Yeah, so it's like she is an adult woman that is just short. Like
I didn't even like. Consider that she would be considered a lolly because she's just kind of short.
Yeah, well, that's what when people were saying, and then when I saw her in the show, I was like, oh no, she's just shorter. Like okay, she's just an adult but just short, and I was like, oh okay.
She likes guns. It goes
she
pew
has
pew.
Also big hands.
Yeah, to fire more guns with.
Yeah. What else? She also wants to get into David's pants a couple times, a little bit.
Yeah, she's very open about like having a crush on the guy, which is refreshing because in anime it's usually like, oh my god, I can't tell them that I have a crush on them.
Yeah.
My life will be over.
And I like that David just doesn't give any like credit to it, but still cares about her. Like,
yeah,
he loves Lucy. Like,
he's like, sorry, Becca, I'm with this other chick, and she's like, yeah, okay, fair.
Yeah, like I like. I think one of the big parts of the show that I really like is just how upfront they are with some of the topics of just that other, like at the very least anime would just be like, oh no, like with with the nudity, with the I guess romantic interest stuff, and just
like the trope of falling down the stairs and landing on the girl's boobs with your hands accidentally. Oh no, that just straight up wouldn't happen in Cyberpunk, because it would just be like, ow, my chest plate. I think you cracked the varnish.
Yeah. Anyway, they do the heist, and after the heist, they're like, "Oh yeah, David, you're cool."
Oh yeah, this is where they steal the car, right?
Yeah. And then after that, Giancarlo Esposito comes in.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Esposito, yes, that's his name. Gus from Breaking Bad.
Yes, he's the voice actor for Faraday.
Yeah, Faraday.
Faraday, yes.
Which I also, watched a little bit because I was like, oh, he's cool.
I'm pretty sure all of the characters have symbolic names. Because Faraday, do you know what a Faraday cage is? Mm-mm. Okay, a Faraday cage is sort of like a metal surrounding to something on the inside that will direct all of the electricity away from whatever's inside. So, which is why if an airplane gets struck by lightning, everyone inside is fine.
Oh, okay.
Because the outside is aluminum. So I don't know what that means for Faraday as a character.
But it's cool.
Yeah. Also, Maine?
The state.
The state of Maine. That's probably meaningful.
I know. Because the scene where he has a flashback and it's just empty, dry land, that's Maine.
Yes, the great northeastern desert. David, because, fucking David versus Goliath, he's small, then he gets big.
Yeah.
Sure. Rebecca, because as a girl's name and she's a girl.
Lucy, also the well, I mean, I don't know. Lucy, I guess, could be like you could make a loose connection to like the Beatles song "Lucy in the Sky" with Diamonds. Like, trying to reach the sky, I guess.
Okay, maybe it's because like she was raised as a bad guy. It's like, ooh, it's Lucy, Lucifer. Ooh,
maybe like we don't.
Atom Smasher is a pretty symbolic name.
Is it?
Yeah, because he smashes things.
I heard in the video game he's pretty weak.
I don't know. I don't even know any of the characters in the video game other than like
Atom Smasher.
Keanu Reeves is in it.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. So yeah, they're just chilling. Faraday comes in. He's just like, I don't pay you to think. Shut up. And then that's fine. Then David gets sad because Lucy might be hooking up with big old hand guy.
Oh, big old hand guy.
He's just a creep. So
yeah. Which rookie mistake. He's not hot. No one's gonna get with him.
But he has long arms.
Yeah. That was pretty in sync right there.
That was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Okay, episode 4, I think.
Episode 4.
Lucy was a net runner, whatever that means.
Oh, that's a new term that I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She runs on the net.
She literally does run on the net.
Yeah. Then this is just kind of like a montage of just like David, working out, like wanting to get one main to help him like to be better, and then he just tosses him to Lucy because he's just lazy. And then it's just him getting more acclimated to the group.
It's a big montage episode.
Yeah, which I liked. I like the montage.
I do like trigger montages.
Yeah. He's learning how to shoot. He's learning to just chill with everyone and drink, and to be more. I mean, it's like a lot of loss of innocence stuff where he's just like, oh yeah, I don't know how to do these terrible things. Like, oh, now I know how to do some of these terrible things. And then we'll get the second loss of innocence, like in episode 6 or whatever.
And then more.
Then more just loss of things. Yeah, I put why was Lucy in the tub? Like, why she have to get in the ice tub? And then we figure out.
Well, the real reason is because they wanted to animate her naked.
Well, I mean, they could have had her like naked, like in the bed or something.
Sex sells, Chris. They needed an excuse.
Well, in the tub thing, at least like later on, is explained that she's like, oh yeah, I've just always been hooked up on a bed, so it's like I don't want to do that anymore. And so she's like, I'd rather just be in a nice cool tub or something. And it's like, oh okay, that's fair, I guess. Let's see.
It probably is sex for the reason though. They wanted a pretty naked girl. Got to fill out that quota.
Yeah. Let's see. What else happens in episode 4? Oh yeah, the arm dude dies.
Oh yeah, best scene in the show.
The homeless man just like is peeing, just
and Hans techie guys are like, hey, what are you doing? You can't pee right next to us.
And
what are
he
you doing, man?
He goes bam.
Just blasts his head off.
Yeah.
And we get the first instance of the like eyes.
Yeah, which is really cool.
A really cool visual motif. I quite like that.
Yeah. And then I like that David is using his Zendevistan, but he's like can't process what's going on because like that is such a
so he activates it,
yeah,
and then everything slows down for him, and he's just standing there, but he's standing there really fast.
Yeah. which I like that him not being able to process things, like it's his motif of just like with his mom, with this, eventually like with Maine stuff, like, and some of the stuff that he does, just like he just can't process things that like yeah. It's funny because like for as fast as he's going, he can never stay in it long enough to like absorb what's going on, and that ends up being problems.
Yeah, and his past stays with him.
Yeah,
which is mirrored in the visual motif of the Sandevistan because he moves, and then there's the ones that are still behind him.
Yeah. It's very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Very cool visuals and stuff.
Just imagery.
This is why Cyberpunk is better than Promare. I've changed my mind.
I've ascended.
I have now raised this from a C to a B.
Look at you.
B for Cyberpunk.
This is for Cyberpunk. I said the surgeries are brutal because he gets surgery in that episode too.
Hell fucking yeah, the surgeries are brutal.
This is where, at the end, Lucy's like, oh yeah, we're worlds apart. And she's like, I just don't want to see you die. And then they kiss, and then they have sex later. And so, it's cute. It's good stuff. Like, they're a cute couple. Like I said, I wish it showed more about Lucy falling for him. I mean, it shows her falling for him more in episode 4, just because they're hanging out more. And then, like, she seems more aware of him, like, when he's doing stuff. And when she almost gets hurt, then he comes and saves her from the homeless dude, and then she gets all panicked when he's about to get shot by the homeless dude, and Maine saves him. And so like it shows that they're concerned for each other in a way that's like obviously they weren't as concerned for with the hand dude, but I still wish, like, I guess for the episode 2 stuff, that's the only thing. But episode 4 stuff pretty good. I like that they like officially become a couple like after episode 4. Episode 5, David kidnapped. That's this episode.
David kidnapped.
David is kidnapped.
David is kidnapped.
Yeah, because they try to do a job, and then they're like, "Oh, let's steal from the guy that made all the BDs." And they're like, "Yeah, this is also where Kiwi like shows up naked," and then they didn't say anything. I was just like, I thought David would be like embarrassed or something, but then he's like, "Nah, I'm cool now. I had sex with a girl I like. I'm chill." And then Maine's like,
I had sex once, so now I'm officially a man.
Yeah, and then Maine's like, "Ooh, look at you.
Ooh.
What's going on?
Oh, you got laid, didn't you? Huh? Starts poking him, just starts breaking his chest bones because his finger's too big. He's like, oh, Maine, stop.
But yeah, he finds out that the guy that they need information from, right?
Yes.
Is JK or
JK, the artiste.
Yeah, who made all the Edgerunner series, and yeah, so David
he's a fancy little man. He's got those fancy drones.
Yeah, but he gets kidnapped and he's shown
and he tortures.
Well, it shows like David killing a bunch of people, and David's like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "There's no way he
turns the pain filter off of the BDs and gives it to David."
Yeah, and he shows it like that he's the one doing it rather than like
observing it from afar,
or observing it as someone else. It's like it's one thing. It's like, oh, this isn't my body. It's whatever. But like, this is you. You are the one doing this shit. Like,
yeah.
I said, yeah, is this some sort of chip dream? I was right. And then it shows Lucy like being angry. So it's like, oh yeah, she does care about him. Like she's just pissed off now because like, you took my hubby away. I'm gonna fucking fuck you up. And she does.
Fuck him up,
yeah, this is great. David at one point says that he's built different.
Maybe I'm built different.
Yeah, JK's like, you think you're special? He's like, yeah, I'm built different. Like, which, to a degree,
very Zoomer of him. I guess
he's very Zoomer. He's future Zoomer. He's like further in the future.
He's Fumer.
Yeah, he's Fumer. And then they kidnap they set up trap for and kidnap the dad of the bully from episode 1,
who happens to be a higher up in the Arasaka Corporation.
Yeah, and they had plans for David because if he can control
if he can take the Sandevistan with being a small little Twinkie boy.
Yeah,
then he can probably take
more than that.
More than that, so he can probably take the Mystery Project.
Yeah, in the next episodes where I started getting a couple problems with some stuff with one thing. But yeah, so David, in the end, the JK dies because he's hit by a stray bullet, which is kind of like a stray needle, whatever. Which was very sudden, abrupt, and I like that David already starts to see stuff because he sees like JK smiling at him, I was like, oh yeah, you're not really different. You'll die.
This is where he gets his first taste of psychosis.
Yeah,
because JK showed him, made him experience the murder spree of the guy who was the psycho.
Yeah, except as him. Well,
both.
He did both.
Yeah. JK fucked him up. That's the episode.
and just the things that he was talking about. So it's like, yeah, you're gonna die like a tragic death and stuff, and it's gonna be terrible. And it happens.
He's right.
Yeah, he's right. Well, like a big theme of the show is like, it's how you die, right? And it's just like, but anyway, episode 6. Main flashback?
The main episode.
Yes.
I really like this episode, except for one very specific part.
We can get to that. I like that Main cuts in and out, and he fucked Kiwi up, and it's like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? like it's like, what? Weren't there a bunch of cops or whatever?
Kiwi, what happened?
Yeah,
who did this to you?
Yeah, first he's shaking her just because he's trying to kill her. It's like, wait, what happened? Dorio's concerned about him, and he's jumping places in his memory, Oh, his flashback begins with him running on the desert.
Yeah,
the running theme.
Yeah,
He's trying to get away.
it's implying that he has a backstory where he's like, I just gotta keep moving, just gotta keep running forwards.
I think it's less about him personally and more about just like the idea of them having to just keep going, and that you can't turn back no matter how far you go. Which that is a theme too. Just that no matter how far they've gone, they can't turn back.
Yeah, because they already ran forward and jumped off the edge.
Yeah. Like
running.
Edge running, yeah. Well, because David, there's multiple points where both Maine and David are given the opportunity to be like, oh, you can just degrade. So,
downgrade.
There we go. Not degrade. Thank you. And then they're like, no, I've gone too far. And
I'm destined for better things.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm destined for better things.
You're like, dude, you could quite literally just stop.
I've seen your apartment. You have enough money. You're good.
I'm gonna call. You mind if I take this real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Running
on the edge. Running on the edge.
Oh, we were talking about Maine going psycho because we didn't finish this episode.
Oh yeah, I like this episode.
Yeah. Lucy needs to dive into the dude.
The what?
The Arasaka company guy, the dad of the bully.
Yes.
Because they need to get the info on what they're trying to do.
That's right. Kiwi tried to get in.
Maine beat her up.
Maine beat the shit out of her, and he's going psycho. So they're like, all right, Lucy, you do it.
Yeah, and this is the point where I'm like, okay, Lucy's like the second like net runner. But she's actually better but they don't know that. Because
they don't know that she's better, but she is.
Yeah. So Lucy does a deep dive, and I'm like, what's a deep dive? Can I go wrong? What's going on? It's just her using her whole consciousness. Like, cool.
I can use 100% of my brain to hack the mainframe.
That's kind of like what it is, yeah. Let's see. And then, this is the one where she found the data, and then she's like, and then the guy got Tanaka. That's his name.
He wakes up.
Well, he wakes up. He talks to David. He's like, "Oh, how could you do this? Like, just let me go or whatever." And David's like,
I'm not so sure
because at this point he still hasn't done anything. Like, he hasn't killed anyone. I don't think, right?
Not yet.
No, he tried to kill the homeless guy, but he kind of fucked that up a little bit. But
yeah.
And then Tanaka gets fried, and I thought, oh, did he fry himself? We learn later he did not. But yeah, so then they get Lucy to get up, David takes her to the car, and then they're waiting for Doria and Maine to get back, and they're fighting all the cops. And is this the scene that you don't...
No, it comes near the very end. The
Okay.
one I have an issue with.
Okay, and so then Lucy's like, "Oh, don't go get them or whatever. Like, it's safer just to be here. We have to wait for them." And David's like, he wants to help.
I have to go. I have to help Maine and Doria.
Yeah, and then he gets there late, right?
He gets there. Yeah, he gets there after the first wave of the cops are dead.
Yeah, and Doria's hit, right?
Yeah, Doria got killed by Maine.
Really?
Yeah, because he was freaking out. He thought Doria was the same as the cops. He was also
that I did think, but I thought the cop on the floor shot her. I thought that was that not.
No, I'm pretty sure it was just. I'm pretty sure it was like from the perspective of Maine, and it was just a bullet from below because his hand was below.
Okay. Well, she's dead, and Maine's just kind of like fucked up.
She's dead, and Maine's like, "Fuck."
And then he's like, "Oh, it's just you, David." Like,
it's just you, David. It's the kid.
Yeah, they're talking, and then he's like piling up the fire, and then it's just explosives. And so he's just like, "Yeah, I gotta keep going." I do like that. Well, after, like, I guess we'll get to it at the end, but yeah, and so he's just like, "Yeah, you guys gotta continue on," and just. And he just lights the thing on fire. I don't know. When David's like, "Oh, let me stand with you and like take these guys out," because Max Tech comes.
Yeah, that's when the shot happens where they just stay on a still frame of the two guys, and there's nothing happening.
It's mostly David though, right? Like
it's David up front and then Maine in the back.
Yeah. That one I didn't mind as much because it just kept like ramping up the tension for me.
No, just the one shot. For like 30 seconds. It was a still frame, no camera movement, No extra frames of...
It was not 30 seconds, was it?
It was like 20, 30
It
seconds.
was a while. Just
It was too long. It had me on the edge of running out of my seat and turning it off.
Yeah, I did think it...
But other than that, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I minded it as I did think it was long. I was just like, okay, but just I think like we're supposed to be in like David's headspace. I mean, the whole show is you're supposed to kind of be in David's headspace, and so like in this one, he's kind of like just like you know, a lot of the show he's like paralyzed, but also like moving super fast, and I think that's you know, I think it's supposed to mirror like how it was with the homeless guy incident. Like where he's like he's going too fast for everyone, but he's just kind of like still. But in this one, he's just still by himself because he's like you know,
being his own character foil for when his mom died and he couldn't do anything even though he wanted to.
Yeah, and in this one, he's trying to do something, but he still can't. Yeah. And then compared to the very end, where she you know the evolution of his character, right, of like what he can and can't do, and so then yeah, I mean that's fair. I think it was fine personally, but I can understand not liking it. But yeah, then Maine blows up everything, and then David gets the fuck out of there. And then, like, they drive away, Lucy and him, and Lucy's concerned about, like... Well, because originally when they said that they took Tanaka, Lucy was like, oh, why, like, you revived him? Like, why did you revive him? Because she was trying to keep him dead. When they were saying, "Oh yeah," so and then they drive away and show the meme of David like, "Oh, he's sad. He's like depressed now and like mature because he's."
I'm not familiar with the meme.
That's fair. Yeah. He also grabbed the gauntlets.
Oh yeah,
which is nice because like, he remembered that, but just you know.
Also, bad move for later.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. This is where episode 7, I guess, is the time skip stuff. But okay, Lucy. Kill Tanaka. She's the one that fried Tanaka, right? Because she didn't want the information. She
found the file of David in his mind.
Yes. Okay, one of the things at the very end of the series where she talks about how, oh, I was killing all these people so that so that no one can ever link to David, and so David doesn't, and which is fine. That's fair. I understand like not wanting anyone to get to David, right? But I guess we'll talk about it.
Okay. Skipping a little bit ahead. What I don't understand about that is why she couldn't tell David about
that. That is exactly
because like if David knew, then he could have been like, oh shit, you know what? You're right. Let me help you kill these guys.
Well, okay. The reason she gives at the very last episode is I knew like she was scared of his addiction to doing the tech stuff and getting upgrades and think that he'd want to try it out or to use it. And there's 2 problems with that. I mean, we're jumping around, so this is like jumping around parts, a section of the episode.
We're really running on the edge of this linear timeline.
Yeah. But one, when she starts killing the people, he hasn't had an addiction yet. Like she kills Tanaka first because she's scared of she didn't say anything to David because like I don't want him to know. But he hasn't done anything to show that he's like an addict yet. Like.
The only implants he has at this point are the
Sandevistan.
The San and the lungs.
Oh, is the lungs? Oh yeah,
the lungs he got because he can't run good.
Yeah, and then he got the gauntlets, but like the gauntlets were a promise. The Sandevistan was like out of desperation, and then the
lungs were just practical.
Yeah, like none of them were like, oh yeah, I just need these upgrades. Like he hasn't gotten to that point yet, so it really confused me why Lucy was like, oh yeah, you like. I understand not trust. Okay, I think a part of it is just that she's not supposed to trust people because of what Kiwi said and how she lived her life, which I get. Like she shouldn't trust. I understand her not trusting anyone, but then she trusts him enough to like open up to her dreams, but not like communicate this simple thing. Like that bothers.
I'll tell you about the moon, but I won't tell you about the thing that could save your life.
Like or like the thing that's endangering your life, right?
Yeah.
Which that bothered me. So it was one because he hasn't gotten there yet, and 2, like I guess this one's less of a complaint because she wasn't sure how he would be. But when he does get offered to use it, he's kind of like when Faraday uses her voice to like tell him to use the skeleton. he's just kind of like, what? That's kind of weird.
That's kind of out of character for you, Lucy.
Yeah.
But then he says,
But that's
I
why-
believe in you. He's like, I must do this.
Yeah, but like even then he was hesitant to try it. Like, so I'm like, even if like she told him, he would have been fine. Like, I mean, I guess it's hindsight, but those things just bother me a little bit, just because like, well, you just talked to him. Like, I get why she didn't, to a degree, but I still think that it's enough of a complaint that has some validity in it, where I'm just like, it takes me out a little bit. But
Yeah, this is why Promare is better.
you're just skipping. It's going back and forth. Anyway, episode 7 is the time skip. I don't know how long. It's been a little bit.
I was
too far, but
yeah, I was guessing somewhere like 6 months or something.
yeah,
6
within
months
few
to a year.
David's jacked. He's a pro
He's fucking
now.
big. You got those fake muscles.
Yeah, I put David's a little rude because he's not saying please and thank you to Kiwi. And that's exactly why she betrays them.
Yes.
He doesn't say please and thank you to her.
She's all about the respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They talk about Adam Smasher, who's like the
The urban legend.
yeah, he's just a full cyborg basically. I put why does Lucy keep diving, and I put she should get a runner suit for what, but she doesn't want a suit because she's lived with suits quite
Yeah.
literally, and she keeps diving to kill all the people that could possibly link to David. They talk about the Netrunner stuff about how her past. They talk about Lucy's past and how she was groomed to be this, super hacker. And I do like that they're like, oh yeah, they trained. Well, they talk about the one hacker that destroyed the old world or the old net.
Yeah.
Like
I want to
he's-
know more about that guy.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, he just hacked 78% and just destroyed everything. It's like, oh okay. But then like they were like, oh yeah, they keep dying and all the kids keep dying, and then they're like, what if we just fuck it, just get out of here? And then they're like, oh yeah, with the stuff that they taught us, we were able to beat everyone like in the facility, and I'm like, yeah, that's fair. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm glad that you guys are able to. I mean, you physically couldn't handle it because he just shot you dead. But like,
They trained the kids to cyber run away from the facility.
yeah, and then they did, and they literally ran away from the facility. Running themes, like
Running.
the scene where she's running away from the facility is a parallel to the scene where she's running away in the end credit scene. Like there's a scene with her running that is exactly that framing. Let's see. I talked about Lucy doing the David File stuff. And
Also, you like theming, right? You like a little bit of theming? Well, I got some high quality theming for you right here.
Sure.
You ready? All right. So, Lucy, Edge runs away from her past.
yeah.
But David, Edge runs towards his future. And that's the true reason why they could never be together forever.
Yeah, the different reasons for running.
Yeah, running different directions. From something or towards something.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Which side of the edge are you on?
Well, she's the one that survives. Episode 8. Because, yeah, Lucy's shown to kill a couple people because they're like, oh, why'd she kill him? We already talked about it. We kind of skipped around.
Yeah.
Sorry. Episode 8, I was like, did David just kill an innocent? Like
Yes.
And, yeah.
Yes, he did.
He straight up did. But I do like that they address it later. Like the way they address it. Or the,
Yeah,
like,
because
the flashback.
like that's him hallucinating because of the psychosis.
Yeah.
Also, best fight scene in the anime is that quick little thing where he's still breaking into the facility, and there's that guy with the hammer who also has a Sandevistan.
From the last episode, episode 7, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
where he's showing the rookie like, stand back, I got this, and then he rushes forward, but then the guy with the hammer's like, I see you, and he shoots the hammer down, so he jumps over, goes around, and then shoots him in the back of the head, and then they show all of that in like
quick-
real time.
Yeah, in real time.
It's like, ooh.
Yeah, it's very cool. Okay, so I said Faraday is being targeted by Arasaka so that they can get more information on what's going on with the Skeleton Project and
They need
and
that
what
David
does
kid.
Militech know and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they put a hit on him. Faraday can curve bullets, kind of. there's a scene where the bullets go around things.
Yeah,
I was like,
there's a couple scenes like that later on.
yeah. But he ends up going to Militech. Arasaka's like, oh yeah, we know that you met. Like, we'll just give you stuff and just do this stuff for us. And they're like, oh, okay.
You're the fixer. Fix us up.
Yeah. There's a secret cyber skeleton tech. Falco's cool, but he was left alone because
he's the driver.
Yeah, well, David's having flashbacks, and so Rebecca goes with him, and then Kiwi's like, "Oh, I want to be dropped off," because Faraday contacts her. And so they're all doing their own thing. Then David ends up talking to Lucy, and then they talk about how, because is this the point? Yeah, this is the point where he's having flashbacks, right?
Yeah, and he starts staring at the TV for too long.
Yeah. So then does he start the urn, and then he passes out, and then she takes him to the dock, and then he's just like, "Fuck you, Doc, I hate you." He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean that."
Also, not sure in the sub, but in the dub, Doc has a Jamaican accent.
Oh, I did hear that because I switched it a little bit. So
okay.
But they're Japanese. Those people.
No.
Just no really accents.
Oh, curiously though, like the biker gang members, they're all still in the original Japanese.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did hear about that they're just in Japanese, which is cool. It fleshes out the world, just like different languages of different people. But okay, so this is where Lucy and David's confrontation comes, and this is where like our concerns about why doesn't she just tell him like what's going on?
Yeah, a lot of this could have been avoided.
Yeah,
if Lucy just told him.
Yeah, which again, I understand. She's bad at communicating. She's literally been taught to not trust people,
and she runs away from her problems.
Yes,
theming.
But it is like I said, like she's able to show him like this other side of her, and then she just doesn't show him like this. And I understand the concerns. I just think like it could have been addressed differently, I guess, from Lucy's perspective. Like, I guess just handling stuff on her own, which I don't want to say she's never been shown to do before that, but like she can do because she escaped. Well, even then she had a group of people with her.
So she had meat shields.
She meat shields. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of with those, it's a little bit wonky on the reasoning behind that, because David's like, why don't you just talk to me? Like, this is part of it. And I get why she can't to a degree. I don't think it's the strongest.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty weak reason.
No. I think it's okay, because, like I said, not wanting to communicate some stuff because she thinks a certain way because of...
That's realistic. That happens a lot in real life.
Yes. Yeah. But David's having very heavy PTSD stuff, though, going on with him, because I like the flashes between his mom, because he still is dwelling with that stuff, Maine, this innocent person he killed because he's having cyber psychosis at this point. Yeah. And he's just like, this is fucked. Like, I'm fucked. like I killed an innocent person. Then they kind of fight a little bit, and then he's just like, oh, like, maybe we should just break up. Like, and she's just like, well, why? He's like, you're not communicating things to me. Like, you don't want to be with me at work, and that's the only reason I want to be with you, and then you won't talk to me. It's like, sorry. like what do you want? Which Lucy's just like, no, we'll talk about it after, and then she gets kidnapped. Yeah. Which kind of sucks, because typical like capture princess trope stuff, but.
It's kinda.
Episode 9. So
the desert heist.
Yes. So
this is where the car physics really start getting weird.
Oh yeah, because the one where he turned onto the other freeway by like just going yeah, like that was much more realistic. So we learned that she fried Tanaka. Kiwi and Faraday are making a deal together, which, she's like, oh yeah, don't trust people in the city, because fuck them. Like,
fuck the city, I'm going to the moon.
Yeah, let's see. This is where they do the heist, so Kiwi and Faraday kind of work together to get David, Rebecca, and Falco to steal the desert thing.
Yeah, the mysterious item in the truck.
The stuff is pretty cool. The heist is fun. It's cool.
Yes, I thought it was good. There were 3 levels of people who were actually doing the job, which I thought that was clever. It's like decoys on decoys. Ooh.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very like well thought out.
Yeah.
It's like a simple scene, but like longer, but it's still cool. Then they get inside the truck, and then
the Militech.
Yeah, and it's
brings
like,
an army.
What's this? And then Lucy calls and says, "Oh, you gotta try it on."
Oh no, it was Faraday the whole time.
Yeah, and so then David's like, "All right, I'll try it on," and so he puts it on, and then Lucy immediately, like, as soon as he puts it on, or no, like a minute or 2 later, she's like, "No, don't do it,
don't do it. It wasn't me."
And then he's like, "Oh, no.
Fuck, I already tried it on."
Yeah. I do in this episode really like Rebecca and David's dynamic.
Yeah, because Rebecca's all like, "Dumb ass, don't use the cybernetics," and he's like, "But I gotta use the cybernetics." She's like, "No, don't do it," and then he uses it. She's like, "Fuck, dude, come on!"
Like, why are you an idiot? Ah, like, it's cute. I really like it. Like, it's a good friendship, I think.
Yeah, also, this is where Falco gets a lot more lines, and in the dub, he's Matt Mercer.
So he's great.
Yeah.
Well,
so I hear his voice, and
he's
like,
one of the
I know
only
that guy.
2 survivors. Like,
yeah,
Falco and fucking Lucy. So yeah, at the end of the episode, is that where he tries it on? What happens at the very end?
He gets it on, and then he beats the shit out of Militech. They drive away, and that's where the episode ends, I'm pretty sure. Because the rest is when they're in the city at night.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I thought he was fighting Militech in the beginning of the 10th episode. Maybe not.
I think there was a flashback to it, like as a recap thing, maybe. But
well, in episode 9, he also what else does he do?
Oh yeah, he gets the last of his drugs.
Well, Faraday threatens to hurt Lucy, and then Faraday takes her away after he recaptures her, and then David's like getting the eyes, and he's just like, "I'll fucking kill you," and then Rebecca like
jabs him in the chest with
and
the
then
drugs.
He's like, "Yeah, let's go."
I'm sorry, that was rude.
Yeah, and then he's like, "I'm still gonna kill him, but like,
I'll do it calm."
Yeah, I'll do it peacefully. And then episode 10.
Episode 10.
This is when I finally realized the intro scene, the themes of it a little bit, with the city and as the shooter, and then David as the dead one. Yeah, I even put the way cars move in this show is wild.
It's fucking hilarious.
Like, it's so crazy. It's very funny.
Yeah, it's like if you get a bunch of Hot Wheels cars and smash them together.
Kinda, yeah. Faraday betrays Kiwi to no one's surprise, I think.
Yeah.
And
Kiwi dies.
Yeah, I think Faraday's also gonna be betrayed, which I also thought we all figured. Like, yeah,
it's like double crossings on double crossings.
Yeah, the head woman seems pretty cool. The one that orders Adam Smasher to go.
Yeah.
She's just like, I'm not taking this shit. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, you're taking the fall. You're my intern. Fuck you.
And he's like, okay. Adam Smasher's kind of.
Adam Smasher was fucking cool, dude.
He's just kind of
fucking badass.
There was a scene where David starts like he sees Rebecca as his mom, and
yes,
and you know, as someone like my non when she was in her last stages was like that. I was like, that's very real. Like, to me, I was just like, fuck that shit, that sucks. But I was like, that's how he's, for me, I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna die real soon.
Yeah, that's like, I'm pretty sure Rebecca says when that happens, she's like, fuck, he's completely gone now.
Yeah.
The point of no return.
Then let's see. I figured he'd fight Adam Smasher when Adam Smasher was mentioned originally, which I was like,
yeah.
I thought that, but I wasn't like 100%, so I didn't write it down. But let's see. Yeah, okay. Then he ends up saving Lucy, and they end up in the Arasaka building, and they add him and Adam Smasher fight, and they kill like everyone there except for
Lucy and Falco.
Well, Falco's not even in there.
Oh yeah,
I'm just talking about the building itself.
The building. Pretty much everyone dies except for the head lady.
Yeah. Well, I like the scene where right before David falls into the building, where he's just on the edge of the thing. He's like, "Yeah, I made it up to the tower, Mom. Like I'm on the top." He's
Yeah,
like, "This is my
he
final."
ran up to the edge.
Yeah, and so this is like his final hoorah.
He's a cyberpunk who ran up to the edge.
Yes, he's. And so then he gets Lucy, and then like they have the very dramatic scene where like the sad song's playing and the moon's in the background, and then Lucy saves him because she's the only one that can do anything about it.
Oh yeah, and they're falling, and they're like both encased by the moon in the back.
Yeah, it's like it's just tragic because you're like Dave's gonna die, like whether it be by the fight or the everything, like he's going to die.
Yeah.
So it's sad. And then they're about to escape because like Rebecca's on the below, and then they get.
Oh yeah.
Her and Falco put Lucy in the truck, and then Rebecca's like telling Lucy like David really needs you, and like you're the only one that could have helped. And
then Adam smashes Rebecca,
and then Adam fucking drops out of nowhere and fucking kills her. I like how Rebecca's like, "Hey, you're ruining the moment," and then just dies. Like I was like, "What the hell?"
Hell, fucking yeah.
Yeah, that one to me was the most like whack death.
They did it wrong, dude. That was great.
And then David asks Falco to just take Lucy away and just like fulfill her dream.
And then it's the final few smacks from Adam Smasher, and David dies.
Yeah, well, yeah. I like that Adam was like, you're actually like, you'd be pretty useful if we just take you in.
You'd be a quality construct.
Yeah, and then
he's like, you could become me.
Yeah, then David's like, ha, fuck you.
You don't know. I wasn't in the game, so I can't be you.
And then Adam Smasher's like, yeah, that's fair. They shoots him. Which I'm like, what a way to go out. Like, he got the respect of like the most powerful dude, and then like he's just like, yeah, I'll just die. Fuck it. Which. All that's sad, but none of the scenes really got me. I mean, the one with the sad song kind of got me, but it wasn't until Lucy ends up going to the moon at some point in the future, and she is like, in her spacesuit, and she's walking around, and then she sees David like in the very first time he's on the moon in the BD, in the game, in the BD, and like that shit like got me. Like I don't know why, but I guess like scenes like very tragic and sad and somber scenes like are very they get me too, something like like they do to most people, but I said most people. But when they have like scenes where it's like a person like they're doing mundane things and they think about someone, that shit gets me. That shit really makes me sad
because you're over here like a normal person being like, oh my god, I do mundane things.
Well, kind of like when you think about like a loved one or someone you care about, and you're just like, oh, like when you think about, oh, they would have liked this, something simple that gets you. So that for me really got me, and I was just like, and then Lucy's just it's a very bittersweet because it's like, yeah, she got her dream, but like, does that mean anything when you're alone? At what
cost did she fulfill her moon dream?
Yeah, basically, like I just think it's sad,
She remembered her boyfriend, and she's like, oh no, he's dead.
Sad.
You see, I'm not a very sentimental person, so yeah, no, that didn't really, no.
I mean, you could, like, it's a sad moment. You said it's a tragic moment.
Well, yes, it's tragic.
Yeah.
I didn't say it got me.
I didn't say it made you sad. I said it was sad.
Well, okay, here's the thing, Chris. The difference between you and I is that I ain't no little bitch.
Yeah?
So something like that's not going to get me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that part was really sad for me. Hit a lot of chords. But, yeah, I mean, because, okay, see, I thought Lucy was going to die, because I thought I had a spoiler when someone said, oh, she dies at the end. And I think I just misread it because I think it said he dies at the end. And so for a while I kept expecting Lucy to die. And then when it started going to like Dave is the one that's going to like tragically die, I was like, huh?
Once Maine started to lose it, I figured everyone was going to die.
Yeah, I mean, like...
But, I'm surprised that they let Falco live. Because he is not important at all.
That's why. It's people that are trying to make a name for themselves and make like a difference, they all die. Falco's the least of them.
Oh, okay. Theming. I get it.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, so Lucy ends up, like, going to the moon, but what does it cost, or what does it mean, like, when you're by yourself and stuff. And it's sad. It's tragic. But, yeah. everyone dies. Everyone dying, I guess I didn't have enough time to process, I guess, all their deaths, which is the point.
Yes.
So, I think, yeah. So that's the end of the show.
Yeah, and JK is not alive, so no one's going to be able to get the BD of
David.
the skeleton suit.
Yeah. But yeah, what'd you think? I guess
It's pretty good.
yeah. I think they did a lot of really good stuff in terms of the theming and the way and portraying those stuff in all the characters and just the way it's presented, like the quick cuts and the dwelling on different stuff and not dwelling on anything, like almost. I thought it had all that stuff very well. I think the stuff between Lucy and David, I think they're a cute couple. They are a very realistic couple because the main
They
problem,
don't talk to each other ever.
the main problem of their relationship is communication, which is every relationship.
Statistically, that's yeah.
So
Yeah, like I've never communicated with any of my romantic partners.
yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think the show was pretty good. I think it was overhyped. I do think talking about it, I do like a lot of bits more just because of the little parts of them. The two main things that I had were just I guess David and Lucy's romance stuff, which some valid, some less so, but still a concern. But other than that, like it's pretty solid. There's to me there's no stuff too glaring in terms of the problems. It looks great, like
For the most part.
The stills still look great. They're just stills.
The character design is really good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the character design is great.
Especially on David, like pre-transform and post-transform. It still looks like David was like, oh man, he's buff now, fuck.
Yeah. Lucy's design is gorgeous. Rebecca's cool.
Becca gets in the thumbnails of all the YouTube videos, including this one.
Yeah,
She gets views, so that means she's a good character design.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, it's pretty. I'd recommend it. Made me want to play Cyberpunk.
I'd recommend just watching more Studio Trigger in general.
Fair. I still haven't seen Kill la Kill.
Yeah, you should probably watch Kill la Kill.
Yeah, I know. Actually, there's one thing I want to mention about all the deaths in the show, which is a spoiler for Chainsaw Man.
A spoiler for Chainsaw Man. Okay.
Have you seen up to episode 8 of Chainsaw Man, or the manga like volume 4 or something?
I still have not watched the show yet.
Bro, boo, you suck.
I've been reading Berserk.
Oh my god. Because in the anime on episode 8, they just got to the part where the Yakuza kill all the Division 1 through 4 Devil Hunters.
Okay.
And so it was really good. This is where they shot Makima on the train. It was really good in the anime. I really liked it. And I was like, that is like, I thought that was very similar in the way of like, portraying a lot of people dying. Because in Chainsaw Man, a lot of people die. Like,
yes.
Like, just like, same thing with Cyberpunk. But like in Chainsaw Man, I think you get to breathe them a little longer, so it hits harder. I mean, again, I know the things with Cyberpunk, you're supposed to not dwell on them too much, and still supposed to stay with you. I get that, but still, that was very good. I just want to mention Chainsaw Man once. Watch Chainsaw Man also.
Read Chainsaw Man also.
Yeah, that's a good series.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to say?
I mean, I don't have anything else. But we don't podcast, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for watching.